Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday episode of 0 to 1. Really excited on this session. It's a fantastic topic that we're going to cover for you today. Some of you may be new to 0 to 1, those joining us on the call, or those may be listening in later on. If you didn't know, 0 to 1 is a weekly event that we do for the Doerscircle community, as well as those who may be interested in joining the community. The whole goal is to share practical advice on ways that if you're a solopreneur, founder, entrepreneur, maybe you're a small business owner, ways that you can generate more business for your company, or how you can do something faster, easier. It's really there as an information session. And this particular topic, we're up to episode 57. So again, if you have joining us for the first time, there's 56 other hours of great content that you can have a look at back on our YouTube channel. Or if there's a particular topic, please do let us know. But yeah, this particular topic, super interesting one, I think applies across the board. So if you're a solopreneur, you're a freelancer, or you're a small business owner, ultimately one of your main goals as anybody in one of those businesses is to find the right customers and more customers, because more customers obviously leads to more opportunities, which leads to either product improvement or ultimately revenue as well, right? And you need that in that sense. And I don't think it's possible for anybody to sit still, even if you are, say, a solopreneur or a freelancer, and maybe you have a few clients right now. There's always a chance in the future that the project ends, or you decide to go your own ways. So you always need to make sure that you're got an eye on how to find more people. And so, yeah, so today's session is called Customer Profile Building and Journey Mapping. So how you can know your ideal customer profile before you grow. And we're really excited to be joined by Amitha as well. So please, Amitha, yeah, it'd be great if you could share a little bit more about yourself. And yeah, we're looking forward to this session.
Right. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for the invite to speak at this 0 to 1 session by Doerscircle. And yeah, a little bit about myself. I've been in the field of marketing for a little over 20 years now. I started in 2002, and in those like 20 odd years, like I've been mostly in digital marketing, in digital advertising. I headed the Sri Lanka operation for Ogilvy Digital, Neo at Ogilvy, the media agency for Ogilvy Network. So I worked there for 10 years, and right now I'm running my own institute, Digital Marketing Training Institute, the Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing, APIDM. So it's operation which I'm a part of more than 10 years. Like yeah, I was a co-founder while I was working for Ogilvy, and then like in 2020, I stepped down from my corporate position and I took over full time as the co-founder CEO of the institute. So that's a bit about myself, and I'm really looking forward for the session today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Ogilvy as well. Yeah, it's one of the most famous marketing agencies out there. Obviously, David Ogilvy, a bit of a legend in the game as well. Probably one of the original copywriters in that sense, master of
Absolutely.
that craft in that sense. So yeah, fantastic. And I'm sure that's been a great experience and helped shape how you can do things moving forward as well. But it's also really exciting to hear that you've lived that journey that many of our members have, or many of our members are curious about, which is being in a corporate space, then potentially doing their own business or venture, or pursuing a passion, or taking something that they've become an expert in and making it something of their own as well. So yeah, really, really glad you're joining us today, Amitha, and thanks so much. We're looking forward to getting into it.
Right.
And just for
So
everyone
yeah.
joining, sorry, Amitha, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but it was just kind of housekeeping, I guess, but for those who are new on the session. Obviously, the session we recorded, and we share the recording afterwards. Amitha's got some slides he's going to go through. We'll do the Q&A at the end. But if you have questions when they come to you, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. If you press the button at the bottom, click Q&A and add your question in there. You can also share an anonymous question if you feel, I don't know, sometimes people feel a little bit embarrassed to ask something. There's no bad questions. We'll try and get to as many as we can. Also, if you want to add any comments, feel free to drop it in the chat as well. Make sure that when you do put it in the chat that you pick everyone. There's a little blue button. Otherwise, I've noticed sometimes people put it in the host only and then nobody gets to see it. So yeah, please feel free. And Veena, thanks for sharing about your business as well. Anybody else, if you want to share your profile, your business, be great to hear more as well as we go through. But yeah, sorry, Amitha, to cut you off there, just to make sure everyone was aware of what we're going to do today.
Sure, no worries. So Jamie, shall I straight away jump to the content that I've lined up, and then we can go for the Q&A, right?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'll start where I left. Actually, I was telling you all that like I worked in the marketing field for a little over 20 years, mostly as a digital marketer. Now, in those 20 years, if there's like one thing that like I can share with you as the most underrated skill a marketer should like possess, is this particular skill, knowing your customer better. I mean, there's like, I mean, no amount of explanation I can actually do to emphasize on the importance of knowing your customer, because I've seen companies fail. They don't even know why they failed. Startups fail, they don't even know why they failed. Like when you really dig deeper, they failed because they didn't understand who their customers. They were like selling to the wrong customers. And at the same time, like there were like a couple of tech startups in Sri Lanka that I mentored, so to speak. I remember like some people, they actually came to me trying to sell a product. I mean, there was one guy who developed a CRM solution for education business and all that, and he wanted to actually promote that to my institute as a CRM solution. And then I looked at it, and I told him that, okay, look, this is not a CRM solution. You try to promote this as a I mean, social marketing tool, or a word of mouth marketing tool, referral system, something to that effect. And then like he went back and re-engineered the product for a referral marketing platform for education sector. And there were a few other couple of instances such like that. So once you figure out who is your ideal customer profile and what's the problem that you are going to solve for them, that's also very important. Then that's your platform to grow from that point onward. So that's what we are going to discuss today. So let me quickly share my screen. I have a few slides, and then I do have like few documents as well, which I will actually share with you. Right. Right. Now I'll start with the biggest mistake almost like every startup that make at the beginning of their journey. Now this is nothing else. Now you spent like so many months, maybe years, like thinking about your business idea, doing all the planning and doing the whole hard work. Now you are off the ground. Now you have your business up and running. And the first thing you do is you go out and tell your friends and family, look, guys, I started a new business, buy from me. Right. So this is the number one biggest mistake startups are making. That's trying to sell to your friends and family first. Now, why I don't recommend this is for several reasons. Why your friends and family are the worst first customers to have for a startup business for many reasons. The first one is, now they will buy from you to help you as a favor to you, right? It's not because that they have a genuine need for your product, and they will buy as a favor for you. And those numbers get stacked up in your data sets. Like, I mean, you think, okay, my customer numbers are going, but most of those customers are either your friends or family who are making maybe multiple repeat purchases during the early days of your business. And those numbers say nothing. And the second one is, the feedback can be mostly biased. When your friends and family gives you feedback, they are overly positive about your product. because they don't want to hurt you. They will give you positive feedback about your products, and that will, lose you the chances of knowing what exactly are the shortfalls of your product design, what improvements can you make to the products. So those early insights, that is very crucial for a startup business. You are going to miss out on it when you start hearing everybody is telling you like it's perfect, your product is perfect, you are doing great, and you miss out on those little improvements that you can do in the early stage, so that once you are ready for the big stage, right? So you have minimized all those shortfalls and weaknesses of your products, and you are going to miss out on that if you start selling to your friends and family early on. Third one is mismatched referrals. Now, your friends and family, they not only buy from you to please you, they will try to help you by referring it to their friends, who are, again, not necessarily your ideal target customers. They might be looking for something related to your products, but again, they are not the ideal customers. So what happens is, so they buy from you, and they are unhappy about your products because there is a mismatch of their expectations and what you're offering, and then that creates negative word of mouth. Now, one great example is in Sri Lanka. I mean, some of you may know this place. There's this place in Deniaya, down south, a small boutique type hotel called the Rainforest Eco Lodge. Now, this is actually at the edge of the Sinharaja rainforest, and people go there to explore the rainforest. And in one of the TripAdvisor reviews or some discussion forums, one guest who stayed here has complained, has given a 1-star review and a complaint saying there was a tree frog inside my chalet, right? And then another traveler, another guest comes and replies saying, "You have to thank God it wasn't a leopard, because you are staying in the edge of a rainforest, and a tree frog is nothing," right? People go there not to stay in a luxury hotel room. They go there to explore the rainforest. So if you don't attract the type of customers who would want to go there, stay there, and explore the rainforest, you are going to get reviews like that. People who expect a luxury resort or something, you are going to expect such reviews from those mismatched customers. And the fourth point is, yeah, I already touched upon that, the negative word of mouth. When they are not happy about you, they go out and like spread their negative experience and all that, right? Now getting to your ideal customer, knowing your ideal customer, it might sound like a magical thing, because it's very difficult for you to picture who exactly your ideal customer is. But there is a science for it. There are steps for it. But before that, let me actually show you a quick video clip. I think most of you are, maybe at least a few of you are fans of Bollywood movies like me. So let me actually quickly share you a little video clip, and after that we'll talk about your ideal customer, right? So let me load the video. Well, your ideal customer is also like that, right? I mean, your perfect match for true love, right? Now, but I don't think you have to wait for God to give you a sign until you find your perfect customer, ideal customer. You'll have to work scientifically to figure out who is your ideal customer, right? Who is your ideal customer profile. So we'll see how you do that, right? What scientific or step-by-step process do we have to figure out who is my ideal customer. It's like finding your finding your true love, right? You have to first define the must-have characteristics. You have to have a crystal clear criteria for alignment and fit between your brand and your ideal customer. Your brand should be solving the ideal problem for your ideal customer. And then say no without regrets. Not everybody is your customer. Not everybody is your true love, right? So you should have the courage to say no to certain customers. This is very important, guys. I mean, this is very crucial, right? I mean, at my institute, we follow this religiously. I mean, I always tell my sales team, look, these are the signals. If you see like people who are trying to enroll in our programs with these signals, discourage them enrolling in, because we are never going to make them happy. We can't actually deliver what they are expecting. This is what we are delivering. These are the problems we are solving for problem. Try to find out the customers who are looking for solving such problems. So reject mismatches confidently, because like if you attract the wrong customers, especially early on, you are going to dilute your entire strategy, entire brand positioning. And then articulate your unique value. Know exactly what you bring to the table. What problem are you going to solve for them? You have to very clearly articulate that the problems that you are going to solve for them. And then finally, visualize them clearly. Develop a strong mental picture of your perfect match. Now, this is what we call as a buyer persona. Right? Once you develop your ideal customer profile, which is the definition of your who is the right customer to buy from you, then you go out and further elaborate that with a semi-fictional character, which we call as a buyer persona. It's like a mental picture of this is the right customer that I'm going to attract. So your ideal customer profile, it's I mean, as a definition, it's the precise characteristics of your perfect customer. So you know exactly this is the customer that I want to buy from you. This could be like individuals, or it could be companies. If you're in B2B situations, ideally you should have first a definition of the types of companies who should buy from you, and then a wish list of clients that you should have. If you are a startup selling to other businesses, have a wish list of companies that you would want to become your client someday. Right? It could be Microsoft, it could be Google, who knows. Have that in your wish list. And then you have to figure out their specific demographics, firmographics, psychographics. Now again, in B2B situations, you have to identify who are the key influencers for the buying decisions. Now, in a very recent LinkedIn publication, data publication I saw, I mean, this is actually from LinkedIn Sales Navigator data. In average, in a company, there are 8 to 9 people who are influencing a corporate buying decision. Whatever you are going to sell to another business in a B2B situation, there are 8 to 9 people on average who are influencing that buying decision. So you need to have those people, the demographics, the psychographics of those influencers in your ideal customer profile definitions. And in certain like academic documentation related to marketing, they call this as the target customer group. So in agency language, we always use the term TG, target group. So that again is your ideal customer profile. In various different situations, people use different terms. Right. Now, let me quickly show you how to create an ideal customer profile for your brand. I mean, in our strategy class at APIDM, usually this is a 2-hour session, but I'm going to very quickly show you how you can create a ideal customer profile using a very quick template. And let me open the template. And I'm going to use some AI tools as well. When I say AI, some of these large language models that you are already familiar with. So let me first open the document. Okay, let me share my second screen, and then it's easy for me to drag and drop. Right. Right.
I think just while you're doing that as well, Amitha, I know you've getting it up, but what you mentioned earlier as well about finding your ideal customer profile, it's very effort. There's a lot cost in effort, right? So I think just if you can do this right first time, you're going to spend less of your own precious time
Absolutely. Yeah.
in actually finding people, which is a big problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's another thing, Jamie. Actually, it'll be, yes, I understand. I mean, it'll be very difficult for you to perfectly pinpoint on your ideal customer at the early stage of a startup, but you have to still do that and then gradually evolve as and
Mm,
when you start like accumulating more data and insights about your ideal customers. That happens, but you have to start with some point. So this is the step by step. I think this document you will get from Jamie and the team.
yeah.
And first is you need to fill the preliminary information document, which I will share next. And after that, okay, I'll share the preliminary information document first. So it's a one-page document that I have drafted. So all you have to do is just fill this information. This is actually the prompt for AI basically. So you fill your brand name, the product or service category you are in, and then like from your perception, just describe your ideal customer in one sentence, maximum 300 characters. Who do you want to buy from you? Just a small one sentence description, you add it here. And then some additional information like demographics, the age range, gender, location, life stage or role, educational level, occupation. So you just feed that in. And then their goals and motivations. What outcomes are they trying to achieve? Why would they choose to solve it now? So you can list down the problems that they are going to solve by buying from your business. And why choose your brand? Why not a competitor? So what are the what do they value most about your brand? Think about that, and then you can list it down. Now when you do this, maybe it's helpful for you to speak to maybe a couple of people that you think are ideal customers, not your friends and family. Like, I mean, pick maybe a couple of other people and talk to them. I know this is difficult for a startup to do that. This is much more easier for an established business or an early stage growth stage company, because you already have customers. When you already have customers, you can always talk to them and gather this information. That's what we do. Like every other year or so, what we do is we do a focus group with our past students and then try to actually get as much as information about our ideal customers. And very recently, about a month back, we revamped our entire ideal customer profile after having a few conversations with past students and all that. And then triggers and objectives, key purchase triggers, what triggers them to buy, make a purchasing decision now, and what are their top objections or barriers, like why do they resist to buy from you, what are the reasons that will put them away, set them away. And then the buying process and the context. And who decide? I told you that according to LinkedIn, if you are in B2B, there are about 8 to 9 different people in a company who will make an influence to a buying decision. And discovery and proof, where they research for information, where do they learn about their product, and what proof or content will convince them to buy from you. So think about this and list it down as much as possible. And then alternatives considered, competitors or substitute solutions, list maybe up to about 3. So once you fill this like one page document about your brand, about your product, then what you have to do is just attach that into, so okay, Now, let me explain that as well. Yes, now we live in an era where AI is dominating our life and work, everything. It's very easy for us to, get like carried away with all these conveniences of ChatGPT and Gemini and all that. We just, run a prompt, get whatever they spit off, and then we take that as a final output. No, I don't recommend doing that. So what I suggest you to do is like run this prompt first in 3 different LLMs, because each LLM might give you a different result, right? So might be like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, or if you are more convenient with like DeepSeek or Grok or whatever, run this on 3 different LLMs and get their output separately. This is the prompt, and it's structured in a normal structured prompt. And I'll leave the documents with you so you can later read the entire prompt and all that. And then in the third step, review the outputs of all 3 LLMs and remove any information that you feel is unnecessary, because sometimes these LLMs might spit out information which may be like, hallucinated, or you know it, right? I mean, this is the most important step in human AI interaction. You have to review it, and if your gut feeling, or if your tacit knowledge says that this paragraph shouldn't be here, simply delete it, right? Without any hesitation, simply delete it, right? So once you do that, then in the step 4, what you will do is you will uh, upload all the 3 documents, and then you will run this entire prompt. I think I haven't actually marked it in the correct prompt color. Sorry, the text color. Yes, this is the entire prompt, right? So attach all the 3 documents again, or you can simply copy paste and run this. And I want you to collate all 3 into one ICP, take the most prominent and common elements, and keep it crisp and actionable for a marketing professional working on this brand. Run this prompt and it will actually give you a collated one document as your ideal customer profile. And those are easy steps. Anybody could do that. The difficult part is this: human review. Right now, when you're doing the human review, whatever the LLM is giving you, so there you have to apply your tacit knowledge of your customer, your research and all that. Make sure you are like deliberating it, and then questioning, and then perfecting it, right? Like, so I'm old enough not to trust AI, right? Because like people who are in my generation, we lived through many different waves of technology adaptations, right? We literally studied with like pens and papers and all that. We did our early analysis and everything on pens and papers, and then adapted to computers like during our like late teenage years, so sometimes even early 20s. So therefore our mind is still like geared not to completely depend on AI. But the younger generation, I know, I mean, once you are like very much conversant working with technology regularly, there is a chance that you get carried away thinking, okay, I can give you a perfect job, and then take that for granted. Please don't do that. That's a message that I actually share everywhere I go. Use AI. I always encourage people to use AI, and I'm an advocate of using AI tools for work. But this 5th step is very important, doing that human review, and you take your ideal customer profile document. So to show you an example of an ideal customer profile, let me quickly show you one from my company, which we recently developed. Right, let me first open that, and then I'll drag and drop it to the second screen. Marketing.
Yeah, and exactly what you were just saying about the AI tools as well, Amitha. Like we've had a couple of people doing intern work with us, and you can see that they're very sharp at prompting it, but yeah, we encourage the same thing. You know, it's good to apply your own experience and thoughts on it as well, because it's not always going to be perfect, you know. And a lot of these AI tools are kind of built to please in a way. So they're going to say something maybe that
Absolutely.
they think you want to hear, rather than maybe, you know, if you need a bit of critique or, you know.
Exactly. That's, I mean, some of this prompting also has to be very careful. I mean, not to leave any biases in your own prompt. You have to be very careful about that as well. Then otherwise the tool will actually take that bias, it'll take the cue from you, and the output will be biased towards that cue that you gave in the prompt. So this is a summarized version of the ideal customer profile for one of our programs, that is Diploma in Digital Driven Marketing. Now, this program is targeted at school leavers, 18 to 25 years, maybe like early undergraduates and all that. They are current stage A-level completers, university undergraduates. They are not like working professionals yet. Preliminary urban Sri Lankans, Colombo, Kandy and Gaul, and their career aspirations to become a digital marketer, content creator, social media. And likewise, it goes on to describe like who they are and their decision making criteria and all that. And another profile that we created for a different different program. This is the ideal customer profile for our digital marketing mastery program, which is more targeted at the working professional. So they are like, I mean, the role and seniority, early to mid-career marketing professional, typically with 2 to 6 years experience. And they most had a a university degree or professional diploma in marketing. So they are already qualified in their academic qualification, already have like decent years of experience, and from which industries they are coming in, their demographics, pain points and motivators, programs, appeal factors. So, for example, comprehensive curriculum covering multiple channels and practical hands-on learning. They want that, right? And then accredited certification, networking and career support, flexibility, the online classes, that's something that they really value. And we bring that in our marketing communication as well. So these are two examples of like how you can create an ideal customer profile. So I leave those documents with you, so it's very easy for you to run it for your own. Right. So hope you can see my
Yeah, we'll
slides
share
again,
those
right?
ones out. Yeah, can see the slides, and we'll definitely get all the docs out, because I think, yeah, that's going to get people a heck of a lot of the way forward, which is really good. So
Absolutely. Right. So these are like, I mean, why you need to create or go a step further and create a buyer persona from your ideal customer profile. Right now, there's a slight difference between the terminology of ideal customer profile and a buyer persona. The difference is basically your ideal customer profile is more descriptive, and it's quantifiable. Once you define your ideal customer profile with right amount of data and in analysis, you can quantify what's your total addressable market size is. So you know, these are my ideal customers, these are the definitions, characteristics of my ideal customers, and then you start like collecting data about that. I mean, there are like research agencies who are publishing demographic data, psychographic data and all that. So you pull all that data, and maybe like you can use a tool like Meta Ads, where you feed all your targeting criteria, and then it will show you how many people in your market, what's your potential reach. That's your total addressable market, and it's more like quantifiable. But a buyer persona goes a step further. This is what you do is you pick one individual character and put that character under the microscope, and then you give a fictional name and a character for this person. it's a semi-fictional character. It's a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer, but it's from the real data and market research you are creating. So usually you give a name to the person, for example, John Doe or Jane Doe or whatever. And then you give some personal background. Jane is living in Singapore, working for such and such company for so many years. So you give that information. And then the goals, aspirations, the challenges the person is facing and all that. Now, why we do all this? I mean, some people always ask this question, why do we need this? The reason why you need this is for many reasons. Number one, as the entrepreneur for a startup business, this buyer persona will be your reminder, right? Remember the story about finding your true love from Dil To Pagal Hai, right? So you need to have a mental picture of who is your true love, right? So likewise, your buyer persona is your mental picture of this is my customer. So in some companies, we print this, the buyer persona, and then we paste it on walls. So the employees can see this is the type of customers we are, making a change in their life every day. This is my customer. And that helps your content creators to better craft their, descriptions, add copy and all that. Because every copywriter, every content writer, before they write something, they have to, jump into the shoes of the customer, right? Now, get into the shoes of the customer. If the content creator, the content writer can look at a buyer persona and say, all right, this is the person that I'm going to influence with my copy. And then that makes that copywriter's life much easier than writing descriptions, writing ad copy for your brand, like with a very open-ended brief. So these are, and then third place where a buyer persona and in combination with your ideal customer profile works really handy is your ad targeting. Your media planners, when they try to run ad campaigns on Meta or ad campaigns on Google or other ad networks, when they have this the buyer persona, they know this is the type of people we are planning to reach with our Meta ads, with our Google ads. Now let me add something there. I was having this chat with Jamie before we went live with the webinar also. Now a lot of the marketers nowadays, when I meet them, and they are already being sold by Google and Facebook that, guys, you can just trust our algorithm and just come and like set up your ads, leave your budgets with us. We will find the ideal customer for you through our algorithm, right? So they have their Performance Max system, the Advantage Plus system, and all these algorithms. But the reality is most of these algorithms are still in testing stages, right? There are so much of errors and wastages in targeting and all that, right? As a marketer, you need to be 100% aware who is your ideal customer and who is your buyer persona before you start setting up campaigns on Meta or Google, right? So the signals that you give the Performance Max system on Google Ads or Advantage Plus system on Meta is very crucial. To give those signals, you need to know who do I want to target. Otherwise, the algorithm will simply, try to randomly show you ads, and whoever who clicks will be optimized as the ideal customer. But they will click your ads, they will come and they might even buy from you, but their average basket value will be very low. So you are spending a lot of money advertising on Google and Meta, and they give you the conversion also, but your return on ad spends will be very low, because from the very starting point, you haven't defined your most valuable ideal customer. So the algorithm is picking the ideal customer based on the volume sold, not the value, right? So this has happened to some of the e-commerce brands that I actually work with, because I mean, yes, I mean, every day they get like 300 sales 400 sales through their e-commerce campaigns, but the average customer value is around like 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. But if they properly did that, they could actually attracted lower number of total sales, but at a higher average basket value, maybe in the range of 3,000 to 5,000 rupees average basket value. So again, so for you to do that, you need to have the ideal customers defined. Right. So the last point that I have prepared for my presentation deck is your digital touch points. Now you know your ideal customer profile, and you created your buyer persona. Then you have to map out the decision journey this ideal customer is going through when they making a purchase from you. Now, digital touch points are your brand's points of customer contact throughout the entire journey, from initial discovery to loyal advocacy. Now, on which platforms will your ideal customer discover you at the awareness stage, the first brand interaction, and then at which point on which platforms will they seek more information to consider your brand against competitor brands, the comparison, and then which touch points they will make the final decision on the purchase, and which platforms would they go into your post-purchase discussions. Now, you might be having like a lot of WhatsApp groups for like-minded people from communities. Those are touch points. And you are on like, you are watching like YouTube channels to get certain hints about advices about certain things and all that. So those are touch points. Now, you have to identify what are those touch points that your brand should be on. And that's the first starting point for your, how to say, your decision journey mapping. Now for this also, I have shared a small Microsoft Excel sheet. Let me open that. 1 second. Right. I think I haven't shared the Excel sheet, but I will do that.
Right. The journey mapping template.
Yeah, it's there, right?
I've got it. Yeah, you shared that with me. So
cool.
Do you want me to put it up on my screen or?
No, I think I was looking at the wrong folder. I have it. Yes, journey mapping template. Here we go. Okay. Right. So I've shared this as well. Now, basically, I took the typical marketing funnel from awareness to purchase. Of course, there are so many, complicated modern journey mapping models. But I mean, I'd stick with like good, like 200 years old marketing funnel model, awareness to post-purchase. And then, so you can actually do the touch point list down here, and identification of customer pain points, and then your role for communication at each of these stages. So I've given you an example so that, I mean, it makes your life easy to understand what this is. This is actually from a furniture shop. The name is fictional, but this is actually for a real client that I worked some time back. I developed this entire journey mapping. So you can identify what are the touch points, and each of the stage, what are their pain points, and what's the role for communication, to whether to inspire, arouse curiosity, likewise. Now, once you have this, you know where to go out and run your ads. You know what message need to be communicated at each of the stages. So your media planning for your marketing, your content creation for your marketing becomes a lot easier when you have all these. So I have an example buyer persona as well, which was created for this particular. I told you that it's a semi-fictional character in this example. Her name is Francine, and she's living in Colombo, 32 years old, and her goals, challenges, everything is listed down here. And then I have this like objective mapping part as well, but I mean, which is not something that I plan to cover for this webinar, but like in our strategy class, this entire worksheet is covered, starting from like journey mapping to what to say, the objective mapping and all that. Right. So that's it, I guess. Yeah, let me just check. Yeah, so that's the final slide. So we can open the floor for a Q&A. We do have time for Q&A. In the meantime, like, I mean, if anyone wants to be in touch, LinkedIn is the ideal platform. So you can look up for me, Amitha Amarasinghe, on LinkedIn, and just send me a message, send me a contact request. And I'm very much happy to be in touch with you. Yes, Jamie. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, thank you. That's fantastic. And I think what's really exciting is obviously that everybody on the call obviously will make sure that you get the supporting documents. I think there's already a whole load of information there. I appreciate for some that, it might be, it's going to take some time, I guess, because some of these things are new concepts for you if you're a founder. But it's going to give you benefit over the long term. It's going to help you, as we said earlier, to narrow down who you target first in that sense. So there was a kind of a question, I guess, is like, I don't know, the question is sort of saying like, is it possible to maybe expand on that example? Which is like, do you think, or is that going to take too much time? What do you think?
Yes, yeah, I think there's a question also, right? I mean, hoping to go through an example. So,
Yeah,
example on a journey mapping or the ideal customer profile. Where should I?
journey mapping example, they
Right,
said.
brilliant. Okay, so I'll go back to that example of the furniture store, and then I'll walk you through that. So let me share my screen again. Right, here we go. So here what happens is like first actually forget about the touch points. I'll come to the touch points next. Now look at the customer's thinking, right? Now at each of these stages now, okay, I'll start with the buyer persona first. Like look at the buyer persona. Now we label this as the apartment dweller. She lives in an apartment. Francine is a career woman working as a marketing manager for a FMCG company. She's recently married and her husband is a business owner in Colombo. And look at her career goals. She wants to create a stylish and comfortable home that reflects her personality and her taste and showcase her success and status through her home. So basically, she wants to make a statement with her living environment. So that's her goal. And what are her challenges? Finding furniture that is both stylish and high quality can be challenging in Colombo. And the cost of furniture in Colombo can be high. And it can be difficult to find furniture that is made to fit the specific layouts of her apartment. These are typical challenges people are facing. And then her media habits, the motivators. Francine is likely to be attracted to brands that are seen as being high-end and luxurious. She is likely to be drawn to brands that offer a wide variety of styles and design, and she likely to be loyal to brands that often offer excellent customer service. So these are the motivators. And then typical marketing messages we can have in our communications to influencer. Our furniture is stylish and reflect the latest trends because she wants to be trendy. And we have best furniture designs to match your lifestyle. She's looking to reflect her lifestyle with her apartment. So for such a buyer persona, ideal customer profile, so look at the pain points. Now at the awareness stage, she's still not aware about our brand, but she has problems. So the problems are, I want my apartment to reflect my personality and taste. I want my home to match the level of comfort and style I've seen in Western countries. I need to find a furniture shop that has a variety of styles and high quality pieces. I want my home to represent my success and status. Now, she might not necessarily think exact these words, but this is the psyche, right? I mean, she will never like openly think or say, I want my home to represent my success and status, but deep down in her psychology, that's a pain point, right? So she's a successful career woman, and she wants to make a statement. So she wants to have her home represent her success. So that's deep down in her psychography. And then now all these pain points will push her to do further research at the interest level. So what is she start like questioning, like what are the best brands for high quality and stylish furniture in Colombo, and what kind of furniture fits best in my apartment layout, and what have others experience been with these different furniture shops. So that's building the interest, and then come into consideration, look at the pain points, little different, right? Now she's very specific about the brands, which brand offers the best value. Now she knows the brands. Now at the consideration stage, she knows the brands, and she's now directly comparing brands. At awareness interest, she's still not aware about which brands to go with and all that, but she has a general problem to solve, and then all these consideration questions. And at decision stage, now she has done her consideration evaluation. Now she's about to make the final decision where to buy, and then the price becomes a concern, easy installment and after sale services, all those things become pain points at the decision stage. So then the purchase and all that. Now look at the touch points. Now each of these stage of the decision making, the touch point could be different. Sometimes the same touch point could be across all the stages, but you have to change the messaging time to time, right? So this is where your retargeting and remarketing tactics comes into play, right? Now at the awareness stage, you just run your campaigns to address that particular pain point of creating that interest, pushing her to the next stage. But once she's in the consideration and decision, your messaging has to be very aggressive in terms of converting her into buying from you. This is where all your price off deals and after sales guarantees and everything, those messaging has to come in your communication at the consideration and decision stage. And of course, like purchase, once it comes to purchase decision, or from decision to purchase also, a customer can drop out. I'll give you one recent example in furniture. So very recently, I wanted to actually buy some furniture for my office, some sofa set for my office lobby, and I saw a piece of sofa in one of the furniture shops in Colombo, in place where I live nearby, and I was pretty convinced that this is the right piece for me. And then I approached the store manager, and then the store manager said, I have to check the availability, color variants and all that from the factory, and give me 2 days, I'll come back to you. So he says, okay. I said, okay, come back to me. After 2 days, he never came back to me. And then the third day, I visited the shop again and I asked, okay, what's happening? So I'm ready to buy. Tell me like how to buy, right? And he's saying, okay, there were like a couple of like holidays and all that. The store people, they haven't come back to me. I'll give you an update by the following month. It was a weekend, and by Monday. And that exact weekend, I went to another shop. I was passing by that other shop, and I just dropped by, and there's this other piece of furniture at a lower price than the first shop. And I asked the availability. They said, okay, this is available. If you order now, tomorrow morning we can deliver. So first shop, even after I made the decision, they lost the business because they didn't have the proper workflow in place from decision to purchase, right? So that's why you need to have everything mapped. Once a customer make the decision, you should never delay the purchase, right? You have to close the sale, get the customer confirmed, right? So that example I just wanted to share, because if you don't map the journey out, your staff, they might think customer, okay, from awareness to purchase, it's just one step. No, there are multiple steps that they go through in the journey, and each step you have to have a different messaging, different approach. I believe the example is clear enough. Any further
Yeah, and I was
additions?
just yeah, I was going to say I agree with you. Like having worked in business development, time is usually the killer of deals in that sense. So you've got to be quick and have that process. Great example. And the other thing I was thinking again, like what you've put together in that sheet there, because you have the kind of questions and things like that out there, or you would get to those questions as you're developing it. You could also use those in a prompt with an LLM to kind of say, I want to run a social media campaign, or I want to target some keywords for SEO to address these kinds of questions, or I want to make a blog post on this kind of topic. Can you give me some suggestions? And that way, then you start to build material around addressing those points, right? So then you can move people through that funnel. So it's not just even from the point of view of finding your ideal customer persona, it's also then helping you create the material, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those preliminary information about your customer can be used. I mean, you have to store all these things in one location and you pull it out. So, I mean, as you said, I mean, social media content creation and so many other occasions, you can use the exact same preliminary information and use for multiple situations in your marketing journey.
Fantastic. We got a question. Okay, so we've got a question in here saying, how can we narrow to one persona? Aren't we going to miss out on, say, for example, a male person when the persona is female? I guess, yeah, that's a fair question, I guess. How would you answer that? Like,
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a very frequent question. It's a fair question, and thank you very much for asking for that. Yes, I think I forgot to mention that once you have your ideal customer profile, you can have multiple buyer personas based on that, right? I mean, you don't have to stick to just one buyer persona, right? You can have multiple buyer personas, but I usually don't recommend to go beyond 3, right? 3 would be ideal, but like in certain cases, when your ideal customer profile is so diverse, you may go up to about 5, right? But ideally, it has to be somewhere from 1 to 3. Now, in our case, for our institute, we have 4, including 1 negative persona, right? So we have like 3 ideal customer profiles, 1 the younger, Gen Z type of a profile, and then 2 millennial type of middle to senior manager type of a profile, and then we have the third one, Gen Xers and more senior managers. So those are the 3 profile, and then 1 common negative profile. Like, I mean, these characteristics, if someone qualifies these characteristics, we should discourage them enrolling in our program. So we do have 4 different profiles, including a negative profile, persona. And then to answer that question, yes, you don't have to stick to just one, but make sure it's not like, 100 different buyer personas. It should be ideally like 3 to 5, maybe maximum. Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, and we're almost at time in that sense. So there was one question I had that I was thinking about before the session started as well. So I guess it's like, this is obviously fantastic, and I know we're keen for it to be 0 to 1 in the sense of like, how do you get off the ground? But let's say somebody has done this session, they're going to take the workbooks, they're going to build their ICP and their buyer persona. Do you have any recommendations on how the best way to validate that in the market in that sense, if they're working from an early stage and maybe they don't have a big data set?
Brilliant, awesome. Thanks again, Jamie, for the question, because that's a challenge every startup, new business is having, right? Because so when it comes to this, like, ideal customer persona matter for established and early growth stage companies, it's not a big issue because you already have some customers. When you don't have actual customers already, or you only have very few customers, it's very difficult for you to validate it, right? So what I usually suggest them to do is like within your planning phase itself, finalize your ideal customer profile. You haven't gone to the market yet, so you are still in the planning stage. Maybe you are still working on your GTM and all that, GTM strategy and all that. Now, once you do that, after you launch the product, right? After you launch the product, just monitor the first few customers very closely, right? I know, like, I mean, so if you are not from a marketing background, this might sound like a little, uh, stalking or whatever, but right, so you have to actually check out their like profiles. Like, I mean, you get a new customer and you look them up on Facebook, look them up on LinkedIn, and see what they're up to. I mean, what type of content they share and all that. And through that, you can get an idea whether I attracted the right customers, right? Of course, the privacy boundaries has to be kept, right? But whatever the publicly available information, you can check, right? So we did this for one jewelry brand, which actually, I mean, they were selling to the US market, and myself and a team over here in Sri Lanka, we were supposed to run their e-commerce campaigns and all that. And to be honest, I mean, none of us were like familiar with the US customer, the buyer decision journey and all that. So what we did was, after we started running our ad campaigns on Google and Meta and all that, we started like seeing customers coming in, buying their pieces of jewelry and all that. And on the Shopify backend, we have their data, the customers' data, names and locations and all that. From that, actually, we started gathering publicly available information about these early customers, and then we validated whether they fit our ideal customer profile, and then we made certain adjustments to the ideal customer profile as well through that. So that's the only way that I can think of for an early stage startup to validate the ideal customer profile.
No, I think that's a great start point, right? And I think as we've hinted at a few times during this session, like, this is an ongoing thing. It's a learning journey. It's not going to be a one and done in that sense. You've got to keep working it and tweaking it, reviewing it as a team. But I think you've given some fantastic points to jump off in that sense. So thank you so much on that, Amitha. Last thing I'll mention as well, I just want to do a shout out. I know Elizabeth is joining us in the attendee list as well, from Utpatti, which is a creative collection. I think some of you are joining us from there, so you already know how fantastic the community it is. But we just want to obviously shout that out as well. I'm just going to share my screen in case you're unaware. Utpatti is a community of creatives helping connect on businesses. Some people are founders, some people are working solo. It is such a great supportive community, so please do join that there. I know a lot of the best work happens in WhatsApp, but please do check that one out as well. And then also just a last shout out as well, that obviously please feel free, if you're interested, to join Doerscircle. That's where we announce about future events. It's free to join. You can just come on the homepage and click sign up for free. And we have a little competition we're doing this month as well to win a free premium membership. So if you're interested, you just got to head on over to our Instagram page. And then if you just mention a little bit about what you're doing, obviously we know there's a lot of creatives in here. So share what you're up to, your business or your passion or something like that. And you'll be in the chance to win a free membership as well. So please feel free if that's of interest. But yeah, that's it for today, I think. Fantastic session. Yeah, thank you so much, Amitha. I think really good practical advice. I think there's going to be, I'm hoping to hear from some of those who've been in the session, about all the great things, the learnings they've taken from it. And yeah, hopefully we'll see some more businesses skyrocketing, or at least definitely doing smarter marketing, which is a great start.
Right. Thank you very much, Jamie, and the Doerscircle team and Utpatti's team for inviting me. I hope, you got some value from this. And yes, as Jamie said, go back and put this into practice. You have the templates and all that, and you can reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any follow-up questions or anything. And once again, thank you very much for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And have a great rest of the afternoon or evening, wherever you are joining us from. And thanks again, Amitha. Yeah. Hopefully we'll catch up really
All
soon.
right. All right.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.